This infamous Irish madam has been called many things since her gruesome execution in 1761. Witch, murderer, even Ireland's first serial killer. Quite the damning reputation. But how much of it can we believe? Welcome back to Historical Horror, a series in which I draw upon my two absolute favorite subjects to bring you the strangest, creepiest, darkest tales from our past. Today, we're talking about the life and legend of Darkey Kelly. Much like Ireland itself, the life and death of Darkey Kelly is shrouded in obscuring mist, making it difficult to distinguish the truth from the pervasive legends that have come to swirl around her. Here's what we do know. We know she was the madam of the Maiden Tower brothel on Copper Alley, which is just off Fishamble Street in the southwest part of Dublin. We know that in 1761, she suffered a gruesome public execution in which she was partially hanged, cut down while still alive, then burned at the stake. And we thought we knew why she was executed. But as it turns out, that part's a little murky as well. For centuries, the widely accepted story ran something like this. As the madam of a prominent brothel that serviced Dublin's wealthy and powerful, Darkey was singularly well connected, rubbing elbows with aristocrats, politicians, even, notably, members of Dublin's infamous Hellfire Club. Don't worry, we will absolutely talk about the Hellfire Club in another video. According to tradition, Darkey was also the longtime lover of one of these powerful clients. None other than the High Sheriff of Dublin himself, Simon Luttrell, one of the most prominent and notorious members of the Hellfire Club. In 1760, she supposedly fell pregnant with Luttrell's child. She demanded financial support from him, and how did he respond? He publicly accused her of witchcraft, of course. And not only that, he also accused her of their illegitimate child for some dark ritual. Now, we can't know whether the child was born and did not survive, whether Darkey suffered a miscarriage, or whether there was even a pregnancy at all. No trace of the child or its remains were ever found. And yet, despite this, because of Luttrell's accusations, Darkey was charged with infanticide and witchcraft. At least that was the traditional version of the story. In 2010, some Irish researchers were digging through the archives and they came across some very interesting primary sources. Newspapers and trial records from 1760 to 1761 regarding the trial and execution of Darkey Kelly. And what these sources revealed was that Darkey Kelly was not convicted of infanticide or witchcraft. She was convicted of murder, specifically the murder of a man, a Dublin shoemaker named John Dowling. Wait, what? Who? What happened to Simon Luttrell? To the accusations of witchcraft, the infanticide charges? It seems strange to me that such a crucial detail could have been omitted or changed. These were public sources, primarily contemporary newspapers. Darkey's trial was publicized. Her execution was very famously public. It's not as if the Dublin populace at the time didn't know these things. So the conclusion that I draw is that people simply didn't accept this version of events. The whole John Dowling connection and part of the story is very vague. How did she know him? How did she come to murder him? I think it's implied that he was probably a client, but all very vague. However, this revised version of events, the John Dowling murder bit, does put a very interesting spin on another semi-contemporary rumor about Darkey Kelly. You see, in 1788, so this 27 years after Darkey's execution, an article in the World newspaper claimed that back in 1761, when investigators went to search the Maiden Tower brothel, they found the bodies of 5 men buried in Darkey's cellar, including the son of a local official who had gone missing 30 years earlier. Well, that's a twist. As tantalizingly lurid as this detail is, it's important to note that this article in the World newspaper from 1788 is the only source that makes this claim. We don't see this detail anywhere else, not at the time of the trial, not later. So it's very possible it's just bullshit. Or at the very least, an embellishment on the John Dowling murder. But you have to wonder, even with this revised official version of events, why were the stories about Darkey and Luttrell, the Hellfire Club, the child, why were they so persistent? The John Dowling version of events definitely calls into question Luttrell's involvement in the story, but the persistence and resilience of the rumors surrounding him, connecting him to this story, insisting on his involvement, are hard to ignore. It makes you think he can't be removed from the story entirely. And the rumors have been persistent and resilient. Rumors that Darkey had cursed her former lover, that she was blackmailing him, that her arrest and execution were actually staged by Luttrell to silence her. The truth is murky. The public spectacle of her execution, however, was very real. She was publicly hanged, her body burned, and her memory solidified forever in Dublin folklore. Even today, from her namesake pub to her appearance on the ghost tours, Darkey Kelly haunts Dublin legend as the brothel madam who consorted with hellfire aristocrats and met her end in fire. Was she truly a witch? A murderer? A serial killer? Or was she the scapegoat for a wealthy and powerful man? As is often the case in Ireland's history, the line between truth and myth, between justice and horror, is shrouded in obscuring mist.